Hello, everybody, and welcome to the February 21st Trips and Traps. Andy Serling flying solo. Of course, last week, not exactly a big full week of racing due to the weather conditions, but we did have one day of racing, and that was on Monday, February 17th, President's Day. And I thought it was worth taking a look at a couple of races from that day. In general, to look at those races, but also to remind people that the one day we did race last week, thought we had a very, very strong inside bias. And we've had about 5 of those days during this meet, and all of them have been pretty fruitful if you've looked for horses coming back off them, both betting against short-priced winners that rode the rail, but also looking for horses that had wide trips. And I thought there were a couple of races worth pointing out, but overall, I think it's to your benefit to circle that day, February 17th, in your calendar, and watch the races and replays of race horses that come back from that day, and look for horses that had wide trips to bet on, and look for horses with rail trips to perhaps bet against. And we'll start out by looking at the 7th race, and this was a classic rail day where a firster was able to get the rail and wire the field. The horse, the one who broke well there, ends up coming up the rail and picking up second from the hot favorite who had to chase on the outside. But the horse that I want to talk about is the number 5 horse, Pitched, all the way on the outside with the blue cap and those gray silks. Pitched is a horse that never gets near the rail at any point. Now, Pitched was a second-time starter for Leah Giamatti, and admittedly, I was interested in this horse. I thought he had a promising debut, actually finishing behind the horse towards the outside that's going for the lead here, the favorite who runs third. You're seeing Pitched steadying a little back there and steadying off heels. You're going to see when we show the head-on after we run the pan what happened to push Pitched out and take her more out of the race than maybe she had to be. But to me, this is a classic situation of a horse that was ready perhaps to run well here, but because of the racetrack and the trip, Pitched ran very poorly. I don't think that the finish in this race, and we'll show you Pitched right here, who really never gets much inside the 3 path and spends a lot of the race in the 3 to 4 path, basically no man's land. As you can see, everybody is pretty much rail or 2 path, at least around the turns. Pitched never had a fair chance to run in this race, so subsequently, Pitched lost by a wide margin. Now, if unlike me, you're not interested in Pitched, you didn't think the first race was very good, you don't think she's much horse, go ahead, dismiss her. You may all be right. I, on the other hand, thought she was interesting going into this race. And for me, this is a classic case where I'm not making an excuse for a horse I bet on. I prefer to have horses I can X out the next time they run. I think that Pitched deserves another chance to maybe run a good race. You see her finishing about 5th there. And as we show you the head-on, and you'll see the number 5 Pitched breaking the gate, we'll circle her a little bit into the run. You're going to see exactly what happens that exacerbates the situation for Pitched. Pitched didn't have the speed to get to a position to get to the rail, was kept off the inside down the backstretch. You're seeing right here, as we isolate her outside, keep an eye on her and watch the horse inside of her, because she will come out, and Pitched is in the 4 or 5 path now, and that horse is hurting her out badly and will force her out very, very badly right about here, and that's that steady you saw. As you see, she's knocked off stride, basically. Pitched really had legitimate trouble in this race, and combined with the racetrack and the way it was playing, Pitched didn't have a fair chance. As I said, perhaps she's not that good a horse. We'll find out. But next time she runs, I will dramatically upgrade her performance. And if she's in a similar type field on a fair racetrack, I think her chances may be pretty good at what should be a very, very fair price. We'll turn our attention to the 9th race. I thought the 9th race a very interesting race. Now, a lot of people thought, what does this race say about your gold rail? Well, the horses that run 1-2, the 1 and 2, spend the entire race until the stretch on the rail. The 5 horse, the favorite, Mighty Ian, this was a lax ride by a rider not paying attention. And the 7 Idle American, I think the rider CC Lopez was paying attention. I just wish he had been less aggressive, but I'm not going to criticize guys for trying to be aggressive. I applaud aggression overall. We've had too much lack of it around here, but Idle American was a closer that perhaps could have taken advantage of a contested pace. You'll see Idle American, good move by CC Lopez, sort of taking the horse to the inside, in the 2 path right now, but we'll get over the rail from here. Outside is the 5 Mighty Ian. Nobody really went that hard, actually, for the lead in this race, and Mighty Ian's riders seemed much more intent on strangling the horse down and rating on a track where you wanted to go, man. He'd been better off going a very fast first quarter, getting the rail and establishing the lead. Well, the 4 Tismus gets the lead as he tries to slow it down. Instead of the rider on Idle American perhaps sitting back and taking advantage of that rail position he could have had and hoping things work out on a horse who's ostensibly a late-running closer, he aggressively rode up near the lead. Once again, I don't want to criticize aggression. I just think in this case, it did not work out well. Tismus has gotten the rail. Idle American is outside challenging. This was a very, very strong contested pace. You're going to see the eventual second place finisher is back here. Behind him is the eventual winner. I think Taylor Rice on that one, riding the rail as she frequently does. Idle American never sees the rail after the move. Very brief time on it early in the race, but basically off the rail. Assumes the lead, the fast pace. You see the one has just gotten off the rail. Behind it's the eventual winner, but these horses that they sort of will angle out, but they really spend so much time on the rail and get the fast pace. The first two finishers benefited from perfect trips. Idle American gets down to the rail in the stretch, but considering being off the rail, running against his style, making this move that really was a taxing pace, and you see how you see Mighty Ian is completely backed out. Well, he's another horse that chased 3-4 wide the whole way. He really never had a fair chance. An interesting race where I think both winners, the winner and the second horse, will come out of it completely dressed up. Horses I'd like to play against going further. Idle American ran well. The problem I have with him is he seems to have trouble putting one good race, two races back to back. We'll see what he does next time, but I do think this race at least showed he does have some good races left in him. Who knows, maybe he'll show it when we get back to the turf, which may be his preferred surface. And Mighty Ian, I wouldn't completely dismiss him. I thought he was a little over bet in a contentious race, but the reality is, if you think he has a chance Xing out this race next time he runs, don't have a problem throwing this race out. He was way against the track. We can always use your help, and hopefully the weather will help us out, and we'll get some full weeks of racing in. We'll get some more horses for Trips and Traps, and with your help at Trips and Traps, NYRA.com, we'll be able to show you some full complement of races in the future. Thanks for watching.